What's up, cooks? It's the last What's Up Wednesday of the year. 2020 came in with the storm, and it's leaving with the storm. And we're ready for it to go on out, right? So I want to take this opportunity to look at all the kitchen products, all the gadgets, and all the tools that I've used over the course of the last year. And we're going to run down my top 10 kitchen gadgets for 2020. Also, we're going to crown our kitchen gadget of the year. So join me for our final What's Up Wednesday of 2020, where we are going to look at those gadgets that made my life in the kitchen a lot easier, as well as crown our top gadget. So cooks, 2020 is out of here. And I just want to take a few moments to review some of the things that I've used in the kitchen that I've really enjoyed. They have expanded my cooking life. They have expanded my learning journey, and they have made my experience in the kitchen. They've changed my cooking forever. This year has been something else. We have been going through mud this year. So 2021 is going to be our best year yet. Some of the things we've learned in 2000 is we got back into the kitchen. A lot of us stopped going to restaurants. We stopped eating fast food. We came back to the kitchen, and we learned a lot this year about cooking, about kitchen gadgets, and about ourselves in general. And I know that my cooking has come a long way this year, and I'm really proud of the things that I've accomplished. I'm proud of the things that I've learned, and I'm proud that 2020, despite all our hardships, has turned me into a better cook in the process. So what we're going to look at today are the top 10 things that I turned to so much this year that I want to give them a little bit of props. We're going to put them on the rotato and let them have their moment of glory, right? I'm also thinking about this list in terms of those things that expanded my learning. So it might not be necessarily something that I go to as much on a regular basis just because of the nature of the gadget, but they are something that brought to my cooking journey that has really changed how I cook and has really expanded my learning. So I do have some items that have done just that. I also got a lot of advice from the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Amy Learns to Cook. I put up a poll in there and asked everybody what were their top kitchen gadgets for 2020. So some of those items came from the group, and I also have some honorable mentions that came up in the conversation, some of which I don't have, some I do have, that people in the group really loved as well. So let's count down my top 10 gadgets and crown the gadget of the year. Number 10, the Bundle Pro Silicone Wok Spatula. So I was on a mission this year to replace some of my silicone spatulas because I've been using them for years and years, and some of them were getting kind of rough. The ones I absolutely love from Martha Stewart at Macy's, they don't make anymore. So I was on a mission to slowly replace those. And I came across these silicone wok spatulas on Amazon. They are made for doing stir fry. And I absolutely love these for that. I actually use these for almost everything. I use them for eggs. I use them for all kinds of stuff. The only thing I wish is that they had a set that had little holes on there for drainage. So if they made these as well with holes, I would have both of those, right?
I got a drill set.
No, right? I've really come to love these things. As a matter of fact, I'm going to order me another set. They were only like $14. So they are your classic like wok, stir fry spatulas. You can use both of them at the same time. They're great if you don't want to, you have a non-stick and you're not going to, you don't want to scratch it, but they're good for all kinds of spatulaing, right? So number 10 is the Bundle Pro Silicone Wok Spatulas. Take your spin. Number 9, the KitchenAid Original Swiss Potato Peelers. Now you're saying a potato peeler made my top list for 2020. One of the reasons I chose these is because part of my thinking about this list is items that I turn to almost every single day, almost every single cook. And these little peelers are that. So they're only about $13.50 and you get a set of 3. I have the green, yellow, and red. That's the colors that I got. But these are fantastic. They just peel like crazy. It's like going through butter using these things. I know some people have had a little bit of challenge of these things rusting. Just make sure that you dry them thoroughly before you put them away. But other than that, I mean, for the price, $13.50, and you get 3 of these, you know, these, I can't say that they're like totally disposable, but they work so great that I wanted to put them on my list for this year. So number 9 is a KitchenAid Original Swiss Peeler. Number 8 is my Vitamix. So the Vitamix has been a classic tool in our kitchen. It's not anything new for 2020, but in 2020, we use this Vitamix almost every single day. This is our traditional Vitamix jug. As you can see, it's all scratched up in there because we use frozen fruit in this and make smoothies in this almost every single day. And this thing has been going strong for years. On here right now, I have the dry container, and I use this to make peanut butters, nut butters, all kinds of stuff. That's what we use this for. We use this to grind up dry stuff. So this is kind of my favorite, and this is kind of Eric's favorite. I mean, the Vitamix is an expensive piece of kit, but it is something that you can just pretty much put aside all other blenders because this is the only blender in town in my book.
You know what the date of manufacture was?
What?
September 2013.
Yeah, this blender's been going strong, and I absolutely love it. We did have one little issue with it. I think Eric kind of screwed it up after all these years, which we need to send it in for, but it still works great anyway. So number 8 on my top 10 gadgets for 2020 is the Vitamix. Number 7, the KitchenAid Classic Plus. Now, I have a ton of stand mixers that I could have put up on this spinner right here. And I'm going to tell you this year in 2020, I have reached for this Classic Plus more than any other mixer. I use this mixer for really basic jobs. I love to make my pumpkin cake in this mixer. I make Arab whipped cream in this mixer. This mixer is one of my go-tos. It's not the biggest, it's not the fanciest, it's a basic mixer that does great on basic jobs. And this year has been no exception. I absolutely love this Classic Plus. It's just the right size for those kind of jobs. So I put this up on the spinner because I think it deserves it. So let's give it its little glory, right, for the KitchenAid Classic Plus. Number 6 is the Thermapen. So we went through a stage a while ago where we were buying thermometers to gauge the temperature of our food. If you are looking for a gadget as a gift or to add to your kitchen, a thermometer is an absolute essential tool because you have to cook meat to a certain temperature to make sure it's food safe. And one of the best thermometers out there is the Thermapen. One of the reasons is it's really fast, it's accurate, it's amazing. It's a little more expensive than your traditional sort of cooking thermometer, but I'm going to tell you it is worth absolute every single penny. So our original one is this beat up yellow one. We've had this for a good 15 years. It traveled with us when we were on the barbecue cook-off circuit. We used this Thermapen. I bought Eric a new one for Christmas last year. What's great about this one is it's immersionable, so you can literally wash it. You can drop it in the river, right, and it will still come out and work. This is absolutely fantastic, and I can't recommend this anymore.
Some of the more stringent Department of Health, when we did chili cook-offs, all you had to do was just show them the Thermapen. That's all they cared about.
Yeah.
Boom. Pass.
It's NSF. It's, super fast. The Thermapen, to me, really is a gadget of the year, but it definitely is on this list. So the Thermapen is one of my picks. Number 5 is a basic wire strainer. Now you're wondering, how on earth was this end up on a gadget of the year? And one of the reasons it's on this list is this is something I use almost every single time that I cook. I use it to rinse rice. I use it to sift ingredients. This is a necessity in your kitchen. It's a very basic tool. These are available all over the place, and I don't want to be without one. Or 5, right? So number 5 on my list is a basic wire strainer. Now you know a knife is going to be on my list. Number 4 is the Titan Forge Nakiri knife. What you're probably surprised at is one of my gadgets, my top gadgets for the year, is a beater knife. I have knives all over the price spectrum. I have beater knives, I have very cheap knives, and I have custom-made knives. They're over $300-400. Every time I cook, I find myself pulling this knife out of the drawer. They sent me a few. They sent me a regular chef's knife and the Santoku, and out of the 3, I really liked this Nakiri when we did the set, and I have been using it over and over and over again. Once you get a hold of a beater knife that you love, it will become a workhorse in your kitchen. So for 2020, I've really used this Titan Forge Nakiri knife. I love it. So it's one of my top picks. Number 3 is the Breville Sous Chef food processor. Now you guys know the Sous Chef is my favorite food processor, and nothing has changed with that this year. This food processor is fantastic. Every time I want to use a food processor, I'm reaching for this one because it does a fantastic job. Now, I set up a poll in the Facebook group for people to add what they thought was their top gadgets of the year, and this food processor ended up on that list with quite a few votes. So I'm not the only one that says this is one of the top gadgets of the year. It's confirmed by my Facebook group. So I love this. Now there's a version that has a peeler and a dicer to it. I wish I had that, but I don't. But I love this anyway. So this food processor comes with a big box of blades and all kinds of fun stuff that you can use with this. It's an expensive food processor, but it's worth every penny. So my number 3 gadget for 2020 is the Breville Sous Chef food processor. Number 2 on the list are sheet pans and racks from USA Pan. So this actually got the most votes in the Facebook poll. These pans are absolutely fantastic. I use them almost every single day. I roast chickens on these pans. I, cook some French fries on these pans. I cook something on the stove and drain on these pans. I do everything. So this bacon on these pans. So this is the Gold Touch version with the Gold Touch rack. And this is the regular USA pan with the rack. I'm going to tell you, if you want to upgrade in your kitchen, add some of these to it. So my number 2 kitchen gadget for 2020 is the USA Pan Sheet Pans with a rack. So my gadget of the year for 2020 is the Anchor's Room Stand Mixer. What you ask, the Ank, this is one of the best stand mixers that I've ever used. The reason I put this on top this year is for several reasons. Number 1, it's a great stand mixer. Number 2, it might not be something that I use like on a daily basis, like some of the items on this list, but I can tell you part of my feelings about this are both the amount that I use it and the learning that I got from it. Now, my stages of bread making started with the bread machine, and that's a great place to start if you've never made bread. It gets your feet wet, it allows you to experience dough and what it looks like when it's fully kneaded, and gives you the pleasure of having homemade bread. After my bread machine, I jumped to the KitchenAid, and the KitchenAid took my bread baking to another level. I learned how to make bread in my KitchenAid. But I can tell you, over the course of 2020, the Ank taught me to take my bread making to a whole nother level. It forced me to learn about hydration. It forced me to learn about using weights and baker's percentages. And it forced me to learn about the properties of dough. What's good in dough? How do I know when it's kneaded properly? And it just really changed my bread making. So that's why I'm giving the Amy Learns to Cook Gadget of the Year for 2020 to the Anchor's Room Stand Mixer. So some of my honorable mentions are both for myself and my Facebook group. So I know a lot of people are saying, why isn't the Hobart HL6 on this list? And the Hobart HL6 really came into my life and threw me for a loop and really changed my cooking. I didn't put it on that list because it's not readily available to people, and I didn't want to put something on the list that was basically just a unicorn, right? So I'm going to give an honorable mention. Personally, I'm giving it to the Hobart HL6. Now, the Facebook group mentioned several other things that should be on this list, and I wanted to just give them a quick note. One is the Instant Pot and the Ninja Foodie. I think the Instant Pot has been on my list before, and I think the Instant Pot has become a staple in my kitchen. I don't think over the course of 2020 much of that changed. I think I've given it a lot of props in the past, and it is up there on my list. It didn't have a learning impact to me for this year. Other mentions are the Breville Smart Air Oven, which when I replace my my Oster French door oven, I think it's going to be a Breville Smart Air. Also, someone mentioned the Pampered Chef Quick Cooker. It's basically like an Instant Pot. It's Pampered Chef's version. I don't have one, but I really like the looks of it. I've been sort of admiring it from afar because it's kind of expensive. The KitchenAid Pro 600 was mentioned. That's a staple as well. It is part of my learning process in my bread making journey. The Pro 600 is one of my favorite mixers. Others have mentioned the Nova Sous Vide Wand, Sous Vide Circulator. Eric loves his circulator. He uses it all the time. The KitchenAid Commercial 8, another great one. All-clad nonstick frying pans. That's a yes, right? The Zojirushi induction pressure rice cooker. I put the Zojirushi rice cooker on my list, I think last year. I don't have the induction pressure rice cooker, but I have a standard Zojirushi rice cooker, and it is absolutely fantastic. Someone else mentions the Oster French door oven. A lot of people like that oven because it's nice and big. I don't use mine that much. I kind of feel like when you open the doors, I'm going to get burned. So I don't use that much, and I plan to replace mine. So what am I looking out for 2021? I think some of the things that I have on my radar right now are the Famag spiral mixer that I got for Christmas. I'm looking forward to trying that out and seeing what that does for my bread making. I really think in 2021, we're going to see a lot of integration with Wi-Fi and smart features in a lot of our appliances. I even saw that in a toaster. But similar to the Chef IQ smart cooker that we just used, I really think canning is going to be a big thing. Gardening and canning took off in 2020, and I think canning is going to become big in 2021. Also, cordless hand mixers and immersion blenders. Cordless is becoming one of the things, and I think we're going to see a lot more cordless kitchen appliances in the next year. So there's an upgraded version of the Gold Touch bakeware. I haven't got any of that in my hot little hands, but I'm sure that's coming up in the future. So my gadget of the year is the Ank. Eric's gadget of the year, of course, is his giant spatula.
When a fish spatula just can't handle a 7-pound cheeseburger or an oversized cookies, you gotta have the right tool for the job.
So cooks, we are going to be going live on New Year's Eve. I will be posting that in the group with the link and on the channel, so you'll know when that happens. I'm not quite sure. I think we might be making cocktails or something this year. We'll see. But we will be going live on New Year's Eve. We'd love for you to join us. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 list for 2020. I think we have a good choice in the Anchor's Room. I think this has been a very interesting year. And 2021 is just going to be the year of the cook. So, so our journey continues. If you like this video, please subscribe below. Leave me a comment and a like, and don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified of our uploads. Also, you can catch me on my website. All my recipes are out there, amylearnstocook.com. Come and join me in my Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/amylearnstocook. You can also catch me on social media at Pinterest and Twitter at Amy Learns to Cook, and on Instagram, I'm at Cooking with Amy. So our Amy Learns to Cook gadget of the year for 2020 is the Anchor's Room.
You didn't do no ding, ding, ding.
But 2020 is going to be our best year yet. I know that. Revel, shoe chef.
I'm sorry, I just got this dry cough. Okay.
So our 2019 gadget of the year is the Anchor's Room.
Which would be great if it was 2019, but last time I checked, 2020.